We'll dive into Cloud CMA. All right, so I think we are good to record. So again, welcome to everyone. Thank you guys for having me out. Thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to learn a little bit more about Cloud CMA. My name is Andrew Gravino, and I am the Enterprise Account Manager and Enterprise Account Manager here at Lone Wolf Technologies. Now, if you guys have been keeping up with your industry news, maybe reading some of those Inman articles, you will know that Lone Wolf, they are pretty hot on that acquisition trail right now. They've been acquiring plenty of companies. We were pretty honored. We were their first big acquisition at the beginning of this year with Cloud CMA. So we are definitely in the height of that. There is a lot of integration and development work going on behind the scenes as we further integrate Cloud CMA into Lone Wolf. But today we are going to keep it very short, or not very short, very straightforward, very simple here. And we're just going to walk you guys through Cloud CMA. We want to take you guys on how to create these reports, some of the additional customization and theme work that has been done for Spyglass. And then more than anything, answer any questions that you guys have, especially those of you who have played around with Cloud CMA. Like I said, any of those outstanding questions, anything like that, this is going to be the best forum to get all of those answered. And to that point, do have a couple of housekeeping items real quick. If you do have a question, go ahead and drop them in the chat while we're going through the demo. I do check that as we're going throughout and try to answer those questions as we get throughout the demo. But certainly with such a small group towards the end, if we want to get off mute, open it up to a Q&A discussion, we are more than happy to do that. But again, kind of that chat is the best place to keep any notes as we're going throughout the webinar. As we mentioned, we are recording this demo, so we'll be sure to send it out, like I said, to Kelly, so you guys can have it on file to watch back as you are getting started with Cloud CMA. I also just like to offer a friendly reminder, because I think we've had enough Zoom mishaps probably for the last year, that you guys are on, quote, candid camera for the next hour. So if you are brave enough to have your video on, again, we just like to throw that little PSA out there to you guys. And then last but certainly not least, if you guys are posting to social media, be sure to give us a follow. You will find us at Cloud Agent Suite across the board. So we do offer more tools than just Cloud CMA. But again, at Cloud Agent Suite, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter. Like I mentioned a second ago, a lot of developmental work, a lot of work going on behind the scenes as we further integrate Cloud CMA into Lone Wolf Technologies. And as any 21st century company, we're going to be posting about it on our social media. So any news, anything that we are launching, new features, anything that we might be rolling out or that we want to get you guys excited about, you will find the information on our social media sites. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into Cloud CMA here. So for those of you who may not be too familiar with Cloud CMA, it is essentially a CMA tool, right? It's in the name itself. We wanted to provide a custom CMA tool to you guys as agents. Now, when we started Cloud CMA 11 years ago now, our main competition was the MLS, right? That's who we were competing against. We wanted to provide more customization than the MLS, more branding than the MLS provided, more flexibility with your CMA reports. So again, that's really how Cloud CMA started, just kind of recognizing those basic needs, some of the things that were lacking within an MLS CMA report. Now, over the last 11 years, or again, however long Cloud CMA has been servicing agents across the country, it really has grown, right? It's become not only this custom CMA tool, it really is a robust, one-stop shop, pretty intuitive tool for you guys to use as agents. Now, with all that being said, of course, the backbone is always going to be the custom CMA reports. Like I said, it's grown, it's one-stop shop. You now can create a custom buyer tour for any buyers that you're working with. Property reports as well as flyers, right? We give you the CMA, we've given you the CMA to win the listing, but using those property reports, those flyers to customize and then ultimately help market that listing and get it off a little quicker. So again, things like that. As I mentioned, it's a very intuitive tool as well. We incorporate a lot of great data into Cloud CMA. Probably the biggest differentiation factor with Cloud is that we do use the MLS data, and we're using real-time MLS data. So every 5 minutes, we're updating Cloud CMA from the MLS information, meaning that your reports are always going to be the most accurate up-to-date information that your buyers and sellers are seeing. And then of course, outside of that, we are pulling in additional data outside of the MLS. So again, kind of providing what the MLS has historically not provided: schooling information from great schools, restaurant information from Yelp, being able to integrate client testimonials. So any client testimonials that you might have on Zillow, Real Satisfied, Testimonial Tree, automatically pulling those into your report. So again, just trying to make this complete 360-degree view. When you head into that listing presentation with your seller, you can be confident in knowing that your report looks like you want it to look, has the good information in there, and again, provides some additional data, some differentiation data that other agents might not be including in their CMAs. Now, taking it a step further, in the last, I'll say 2 years, 3 years, we've definitely shifted our focus with Cloud CMA. So again, up until now, it's been all about the reports, making sure that you can create these reports pretty easy, have the customization factors, as we will keep hammering in as we go throughout Cloud CMA. But again, recently, the shift has focused. No, scratch that, reverse it. The focus has shifted into how are we going to actually present this information, right? And how can we make it easier for you guys to present this information, make it a little more flexible, as you see on the screen here. So that is where our tool, Cloud CMA Live, comes into play. Now, Cloud CMA Live, we have had tremendous success. We are very, very proud of Cloud CMA Live. We officially launched it at the beginning of last year. So it definitely worked in our favor that just as the world was becoming more virtual, we were launching a virtual listing presentation here. But that is just what Cloud CMA is. It is a virtual listing presentation. Now, I know if you were like me this last year, you were probably tired of hearing the word virtual. You don't want to hear anything more about it. But with that being said, and some of the benefits to a virtual listing presentation here, again, it provides the flexibility. If you are meeting face-to-face with your clients, you pull this up on an iPad, tablet, project it on a smart TV. I think that has looked really cool in the past. And this is just going to be a great interactive way to go through this listing appointment with your seller. But again, as we have seen in the last year, we aren't always able to meet face-to-face, whether it's health issues, whether it is truly just, I don't want to take the time to drive an hour across town to meet with my client. We can save some time there. Or if it's an out-of-town client, right? Those relocation. Hopefully with everything with COVID, again, becoming a little more virtual over the last year, we do see some of the benefits to it. Again, it is a huge time saver. You don't have to travel to and from the office, to and from different clients' houses, when I can hop on a Zoom call here with my listing presentation. And again, I think the biggest thing that this is probably being used for now, those relocation clients, anyone who's moving to the market. Obviously, if they are not in the area just yet, I need an easy way to meet with them, easy way to convey this market information. So again, having the Zoom integrations, Skype integrations, they are built in directly to Cloud CMA Live. So you have it easy access right there. Again, just should put you a little above the edge, a little ahead of the curve when it comes to meeting with your clients and having a tool like this. And we are definitely going to spend a lot more time in Cloud CMA Live. We're going to talk a lot about the map features, some of the live data that we incorporate into the CMA. We are going to go ahead over here and take a look at the tool itself, get some of these reports created, and again, show you guys some of the additional customization that we've been doing here. So when we start off on your home screen in Cloud CMA, you'll notice that we keep your recently saved reports. We do have those easy access just if you need to go back and edit at any time for those clients that you're currently working with. And I will point out here, as we mentioned towards the beginning of the demo, we do have some additional tools that we provide in our Cloud Agent Suite. Those are individual based, but if you guys are interested in checking those out, kind of want to complete the suite, you are more than welcome to do that. But again, those are just individual subscription as of right now. When it comes to creating the reports in Cloud CMA, again, we wanted to keep it as easy as possible, but still give you that awesome looking finished product at the end of the day. So creation process, 4 simple steps. We're going to ask you for your client's information. We'll pull in the MLS data automatically into Cloud CMA, turn it back over to you guys to customize, and then ultimately publish and share with your client. So again, 4 steps. Most agents are knocking these out in about 10 minutes, creating these reports. So again, we'll get that client information in there. Any private notes that you have on the client. So any information, notes on the property, you can go ahead and throw in there, obviously just for you guys. And then right next to that, we're gonna have the option to include our subject property. So we go ahead and put in that subject property address. Just a little bit of a time saver here in Cloud CMA. We will try and pull in as much subject property data as we can. Now we are pulling that from the tax record. So we're pulling all the information for your subject property from the public record. But again, saves you a little bit of time. If you notice anything doesn't pull, because again, it is the tax information, you can always go through and manually fill in that information. Outside of that, we will allow you to pull or throw in any advanced information, as well as any additional photos, anything like that that you might have of that subject property. Now, right below that in Cloud CMA, we're going to immediately ask you how you want to pull these comps into your report. So you'll notice that over here on the left-hand side, we do have our exact listing search. As you can see, done by MLS number. Great thing for you guys in Austin, we actually have the integration set up with the MLS. So when you guys log into Matrix, you can set up your search like you normally would, kind of go through the same steps that you would of creating a Matrix CMA report, but you'll notice that we have a Cloud CMA button on that results screen. And I wish that they would give us Matrix logins so we can kind of show you around, but unfortunately they have not provided those to us. But again, you go through, you search. Once you're on that results screen, you will have a Cloud CMA option to auto-populate those MLS numbers into your report. So very quick, very easy, obviously gets you that curated view of the market. The other option over here on the right-hand side, quick and dirty search, pretty much just like it sounds. We're going to start with your subject property, and we're going to search in direct proximity for best fit comps. Now, this is where you see some of the intuitiveness with Cloud CMA. So while we call it a quick search, there is more at play behind that quick search. So again, it's going to be proximity. We're going to search within a half-mile radius, but we're going to take into account all of your subject property information. So all that information that we pulled in from the tax records, any additional information that you may have added, we're taking into account to make sure that we pull best fit comps in your CMA report. And you can see here when we hop to the listing screen, we're going to fetch those listings. I am using the quick search today. And you can see they're going to be pretty closely related to my subject property. Again, all within that half-mile radius. Subject property kind of hidden behind one of my comps here. But again, we'll pull in the comps that we feel are best fit, and we'll also pull in some additional comps. So we'll let you know these grayed out comps didn't feel like they were best fit, but wanted to pull them in because again, they are right next door to your subject property or whatever it might be. Right below that, subject property information again. Now this is the option or the area where you can go through and put in a suggested list price. So in Cloud CMA, again, pretty flexible. Put in your own price, your own range of prices. If you click on that price guide, we will offer some suggested ranges as well. So if we wanted to choose any of those. Or the last option, you can completely leave it blank if you want to. So if you want to hold off on that list price, maybe have a few more conversations with your seller, you can definitely go that route with Cloud CMA. But again, if I wanted to throw anything in there, could go ahead and click on the hyperlink. Right below that, we will have our seller's net sheet. So any expenses that you would want to put in your report, anything that you would want to list line by line, you can go ahead and fill out in Cloud CMA. So anything like closing costs, if it were, let's say $2,500, right? You can go ahead and save that. You can put our attorney fees in there. Let's say that's $1,500 or whatever it might be. So again, you can throw those line by lines in there. Not sure what's going on with my Outlook right now. And then that will all publish in the final version of your CMA report. Right below that, you're going to have your comps this time in a list view. So all that information we saw on the map, putting in a list view here. As I mentioned when we first got to this screen, this is really just where we want to pull in all of the MLS data. Make sure that you guys have the option before you get into the customization, before you obviously publish the report and send it out. Want to make sure that you have a chance to double check everything, right? Go through each comp, take a look at the listing photos, the main MLS details up here at the top, and then go through the description, any additional features, just to make sure that it is, best fit for your CMA report. Now, as you're going through all this information, if you need to make any adjustments, you can certainly do so in Cloud CMA. Almost the exact same process as the seller's net sheet. You will come up with that adjustment value on your own. So if there was a renovated kitchen, let's say I added $15,000 in value, you can go ahead and create that adjustment. Maybe not the best example on a Wednesday morning, but again, you can kind of go through, add those line by lines, any concessions in there that you might need to account for, you'd be able to add in Cloud CMA. The one benefit to using the MLS data, I have noticed the more information we pull, less adjustments that you end up having to make, which is pretty nice. Now, once you go through all this information, you sift through all the data, you will notice you have the check boxes here. These will help you remove comps from the CMA or add any of the grayed out comps into your report. But once you go through all of that, you'll simply have the option to add a listing. So this is, again, kind of your last opportunity to add any MLS numbers in there. Typically what I use this for is off MLS listings. Any for sale by owner, private sales, things like that I would want to include as a comp. Simply throw in that property address and we will pull in the tax data for that off MLS listing. Can add any description, any photos of the property, and then from there, you can customize your report. So again, once you sift through all that data, add any additional listings that you might be missing or looking for. We'll take you into that customized step here where you guys can officially put this report together before sending it off to your client in terms of the pages, the content that shows up, all of that information. So I think the first thing to point out, when you guys log into Cloud CMA, we're going to lock you into a theme. We've been working on a Spyglass Realty theme that you guys can use. So essentially all of your reports, and you'll see here in just a second when we publish, they are going to be completely branded to Spyglass Realty. This is something that we have just started doing on a kind of mass broker scale. So you guys, again, are a little bit ahead of the curve. Not too many brokers have opted in for broker edition of Cloud CMA. But again, it'll just have your theme in there, some additional contact information, all of that good stuff with your custom theme. And we'll see that more once we publish the report itself. Now, right below that theme option, we are going to have the template of your report. So these are the pages, the current order that they're appearing in. Now, I think the first thing to note as you guys are getting started with Cloud CMA, as you guys are logging into Cloud CMA, for those of you who are completely new to it, one of the first things that you'll want to do is make sure that cover letter, agent resume, any of that personal information that we're displaying in Cloud CMA is up to date. And you'll notice that we make it super easy for you guys. If you need to update that cover letter, simply click on the edit option and we will pull up that text box. You guys will also notice when you get in there, we're going to have, some pretty generic high-level templates for you guys. So you're not really starting from scratch when it comes to those cover letters either, or agent resumes or anything like that. So yeah, you'll definitely want to make sure that you get in there and update those. Again, your agent resume, your company information. Outside of that, you'll find a full list of additional content over on the left-hand side. This is where you'll find a lot of our static pages, so pages that are not necessarily customizable, but they do provide some good information. So things like what's a CMA? This is a page that we keep over in the additional content. Very high level. Here's what a CMA is. Here's how I created it as your agent. And here's what we're going to take away from it. So again, just some good high level information, especially for first time sellers. Have a lot of those pages in the additional content section. Under your guidance section, selling your home in a tough market, not really having to deal with that right now. Things are selling pretty quickly out there. But this second one, right, negotiating with buyers. We are getting a lot of offers on these listings as they hit the market. So again, best negotiating tactics, how to get the best list price out of these potential buyers. So definitely feel free to sift through that, add any pages that you want to add from the additional content section. Last thing that we'll take a look at here on the customize step, as you are going through, you are adding pages, removing pages from your CMA report. Always feel free to save it as a template. So any changes that you make here, they're going to auto save. The next time I go in and create a CMA report, I'm going to have what's a CMA. I'm going to have that negotiating with buyers pages that I added, because again, it's going to auto save. Outside of that, if you ever want to save anything as a template, this is a really great option. I kind of use it to formulate like a home-based CMA report. The pages that I always want to show sellers, the pages that I always want to show clients, I'll end up saving as a custom template in Cloud CMA. And you can see here, I did a custom template for one specific client. Listing presentation packet. Again, this is kind of my home base. These are the pages that I'm always going to show every client. And then from there, I can add and remove any pages that as I see fit. Right, I went through and saved a follow-up template. So any leads that I'm working with, this is what I can click, my follow-up template to lead, and I can send that CMA report out to any leads that I'm working with. So again, it just makes it a little more turnkey. Like I said, kind of click of a button, you can pull those reports up and then get them out to the respective clients that you're working with. Now from there, once you get your report looking like you want it to look, you go through, you customize everything, then you can actually publish your report and get it out to your client. Now you will notice when we publish the report, we're going to have some of those very typical sharing options. Of course, if you want to email the PDF or the live version out, you are more than welcome to do that. I will say, I think used more frequently or more often than not are the copy options. So you can copy the PDF link, copy the live link. Universal links, if you're sending them out via text, email, social media, again, I think those are most widely used because of that. Very flexible in terms of the sharing. But again, we do publish as a PDF report, and then we'll publish as the live option as well. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that live option first. You can start to see some of that branding come through. This is what y'all's live CMA is going to look like. So we'll have who it's prepared for right here in the middle. Up in the top right-hand corner, you're going to have that contact information. So phone numbers, email addresses, all of that good information is going to be in the top right-hand corner for your client to easily access. Have that company logo in the top left-hand corner. I only point that out because it does have some functionality behind it. It does serve as your home button. As you're going throughout the report, you ever need to hop back to the screen, you simply click on your company logo up here. Right next to that, you're going to have your drop-down menu. This drop-down menu gives you your pages in a list view. So very, very easy to navigate, especially compared to a PDF or a printout report. But another huge benefit to Cloud CMA Live, nothing's ever set in stone, right? While the PDF that we're about to take a look at is pretty static once you publish it, not the case with the live CMA. You are more than welcome to customize. You can change things as you are going throughout the presentation with your client, update custom pages, all of that good stuff. So very, very dynamic report as you're going through this information with your clients. Last thing in this drop-down menu, the option to start a virtual meeting. So again, if you are in a situation where you still need to hop on a Zoom call, Teams, Skype, Google Hangout with your client, you can do what we're doing right now. Pull up your live CMA and then do a simple screen share. So again, providing some of that flexibility. Hopefully we won't have to be doing virtual meetings too much longer, but in those instances where it might help you out a little bit more, you have it built in right into your CMA. I will say outside of that, and I think I mentioned this earlier, it works great in person. I've actually had a lot of fun projecting it on smart TVs. I think it looks pretty cool projected on a big screen like that. But once you're actually in that presentation, you'll have your company information. Again, you can update this as you see fit, or even make it an About Me page if you wanted to. Get into what's a CMA. Like I mentioned, this is one of our pages, one of our static content pages that you can include in there if you wanted. And then we get into just some additional information. This is actually a kind of a campaign that we're running with Cloud CMA. Not really a campaign. We just want to bring more awareness to the MLS and what it provides to buyers and sellers. So put together a little video here. Again, the nice thing about a live CMA, the video, all the information is really come to life.
You're thinking of selling?
That's a little loud. But yeah, you have, I think, prime example here. If you were to include videos, maybe a video introduction of yourself, you can kind of get a feel of what it's going to look like in this virtual presentation. Now, as we move out of the intro section, we are going to hop into the comps here. And you'll notice with Cloud CMA Live, we do, again, kind of getting back to that idea of flexibility. You're going to have everything at a glance. So you can quickly go through, this property first comp has 3 more baths, or if I go through here, can update my property details. Again, making sure that nothing's static in these reports. All right, so I can update that. And then again, I can go through quick comparison. First comp, same number of beds, has an extra half bath compared to my subject property. Same thing with my second comp here. Now again, as I'm going through this information, going through each comp, I can actually click on it. There's all my MLS details. So as we're going through, if my client has any questions, I can pull up the comp itself. They can take a look at the listing photos, the main MLS details, and of course, we'll have that quick info box over here on the right-hand side. Now with Cloud CMA Live, you can make those adjustments in real time. So again, if we had another renovation that we wanted to make an adjustment before, we could go ahead and add that in Cloud CMA. Very quick and easy. Last option up here in the very top right-hand corner, if you want to remove the comp altogether, you can go ahead and take it out of your CMA report. When you head back to your at a glance view here, you'll notice that it is officially removed from that CMA. Last view here with our comps. We have the map view here. Best thing about Cloud CMA Live is probably the map view. My favorite view, I stick to this when I'm going through my comps and going through all the information in Cloud CMA Live. A couple reasons that this map is so useful in a tool like Cloud CMA. One, it is live data, right? So we have your subject property, we have the comps pulled in, those will be notated with the price showing. But we also pull in all of the sold properties, the active properties, the pending properties, those are all the polka dots that you see on the screen. We're essentially giving you a live view of the MLS right now, you and your client, a live view of the MLS. Meaning as active properties go under contract, those statuses will reflect in real time here on the map. Price updates, again, if active pending properties increase, decrease in price, it all reflects here on the map. I think really the biggest thing from the agent perspective, it again gives me the flexibility. If my client wants to know why I didn't include this sold property right down the road from them, I can pull it up, we can take a look at it. And at the end of the day, if I want to throw it in my CMA, I can very easily add it. So it really just gives you the MLS at your fingertips. That is probably the best way to describe this map here. And I think, as we mentioned, in a market like we're in right now, where listings are barely staying on the market, having that live data is super beneficial to buyers, as sellers, as well as buyers in this case. And that same thing, that's going to carry throughout the analysis section as you get into the average pricing, the average price per square foot. Again, we're breaking down the comp data and breaking down the analysis of each comp, but it is still live information. Again, as our active properties, as they change status, anything like that, it'll update on throughout the analysis section. Same flexibility here. If I want to remove any outliers and kind of see how that changes the overall trend line of my CMA report, the nice thing about the analysis section is it doesn't actually take it out of the CMA. So I can easily kind of go through, walk through what if scenarios by removing and adding comps back in and out of the CMA report. Get into our sold property analysis here. Now this, again, very simple in Cloud CMA Live, but we do highlight the pricing history across all statuses. So you'll be able to see pending, again, active, sold, and their pricing history. And then we'll highlight those key takeaways up here towards the top. Wrap up the analysis section with an online valuation analysis page. This is one that I actually added from the additional content section before our webinar this morning, but it is completely optional. With that being said, most of our agents are including this in their CMA report. As you can see, it is going to be a Zillow comparison. Essentially, we're going to pull in the sold price, the list price based on the MLS data. We'll pull in that Zestimate for the same comp, and then we're going to give you a % difference between the two. Now, we always tell our agents, it is completely up to you, the story that you put behind these numbers. Most of our agents are using this to overcome that objection. I know what my house is worth. I saw it on Zillow. I'm sure we've all gotten that, probably more often than we would like to admit. This is just our way of overcoming that, right? Opening up that conversation. Yes, I know that you've been on Zillow, but did you know that Zillow was up to 45% off in their estimates, which equated to $161,000, almost $162,000 off. You know, that's a huge margin of error that most sellers are not aware of when it comes to Zillow. And, you know, if they're trying to list their house 200,000 above market price or asking price, then, you know, it's not going to be good for them. It's going to stay on the market a little longer. So again, it just opens up that conversation. The things that you already know, you can now explain a little bit easier to your client. We wrap up the CMA here with your suggested list price. Again, you can choose to add this on the forefront if you want to, but as you can see here with the live CMA, there are some opportunities to, again, play around with different what if scenarios. If you wanted to show, we sold it for $550, right? We got great price for it. This is what you would walk away with at the end of the day. Well, let's say that we hit a dip in the market and now we only got $450 for it. Well, again, after your mortgage payoff, your net sheet, this is what you would walk away with as the seller. So again, just provide some of that flexibility. Have some of our closing section here, marketing action plan. This is obviously one that you can customize. We're not going to lock you into what we think is a good marketing action plan here. You can certainly change that as you see fit. Commission distribution, one of our non-editable pages, but again, just high-level overview. Here's how commission is split up. For some reason, buyers and sellers are all very, very nosy about where their money is going and how you're getting paid as an agent. So if you want to have that conversation with them, you can. But again, just some information, pricing and timing. You know, if you sold it at market value, the percentage of buyers that would bite. If you sold it above, below, so on and so forth. And then again, when you're ready to take it back to that home screen, you'll simply click on your company logo. Now, very quickly, we'll take a look at the PDF. The content itself between PDF and live, that's not going to change too much. You're still going to have your company information page, your contact information showing, all of that good stuff. Really, the biggest difference is, again, the PDF is a little more static once published, and the live version is very dynamic. You can change it as you see fit. But the one thing that I do want to point out in the PDF report, so again, we have intro, like I said, cover letter, company information, that'll all mimic what we saw in the live. But the one difference is really just how we display our comps. So again, way more static compared to the live version, but we still do provide all of the MLS details. We get you the listing photos in there, the full MLS details, features, remarks, your branding down here at the bottom, and then we'll take you into any additional listing photos for that property. So again, you still get all that information, but like I said, it's just not as dynamic or not as easy to showcase maybe in a listing appointment compared to that live option. Now, with that being said, if you were to send this PDF out via email, there are still some, interactive aspects to it that can blow up. Clients can blow up listing photos, things like that. But again, it is just your typical printout PDF CMA report, but branded to you guys at Spyglass Realty. All right. So we are going to wrap up Cloud CMA here with one last additional feature tool that you guys have at your fingertips. And that is our tool Homebeat. So Homebeat, this is only available through our broker edition of Cloud CMA, or it's available to you guys free, I should say, through our broker edition. And Homebeat is essentially, think almost the light version of a CRM in Cloud CMA. That's what Homebeat is providing to you guys. So we'll take a look here. You'll notice that it is one of our sharing options. If you create a CMA report, you do have the option to create a Homebeat. You'll notice it's a tab up here as well. So if you wanted to create it from scratch, you can definitely go that route. But with Homebeat, we're going to look for your client name. We're going to look for that client email address and their subject property address. So again, you can start to see it. It's a lot of the information that you would input into a CRM system anyway. So we're looking for those three bits of information. Right below that, we're going to have an intro message. So when you first set a client up on a Homebeat, we will send an intro message out. We've designed Homebeat a little more geared towards past clients. So as you're creating this intro message, feel free to make it a little more personal, especially if it is a client that you've already worked with. And then right after that, we are looking for a frequency. So again, when you first set a client up on a Homebeat, we're going to send the intro message. We're also going to send their first Homebeat. Outside of that, they're going to receive a Homebeat or a market update from us every quarter, every 6 months, every year, or you could even go down to every month with Homebeat. But again, based on that selected frequency, Homebeat's going to take over, and we're going to send out this automatic market report to your client. Now you'll notice with Homebeat, it looks very, very similar to Cloud CMA Live in terms of aesthetics, right? We're going to have that subject property here in the first column. Of course, you or the client can edit property details before it actually goes out to them. But then we're just going to pull in what's currently active, anything to watch, so some things that are under contract or pending, and then we'll also pull in what's recently sold. Now, unlike our CMA report, unlike the live version, this is very much, here's what's going on in your neighborhood. It is clear-cut a proximity search with Homebeat. But again, we're just trying to provide a market update, right? We want to let them know what's going on in their neighborhood. More importantly, we're getting your contact information out every month, every quarter, every 6 months, whatever it might be. They're getting a map view of the MLS, right, or of their neighborhood. Same thing with the Cloud CMA as the Cloud CMA Live map. You know, it's live data, statuses change, price updates, all of that will be reflected in Homebeat. And probably the thing that most clients are looking for, you know, the stats page, right? What are things selling for in their neighborhood? How long are things staying on the market? So on and so forth. Now with Homebeat, you will notice that here in the top right-hand corner, we have an option to request an expert home valuation. Little unique to Homebeat, most tools like it, they will provide an automatic home value range or some sort of suggested list price. We opted not to do that, right? We're not going to throw any sort of number out there with Homebeat. We did it for a couple reasons. One, we are very much of the belief that you guys know best. You can tell us what a house would list for better than a computer ever could. It will always be like that. The second reason, and probably the more logistical reason, we needed a call to action, right? If you guys have not worked with these clients in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, we needed an easy way for them to get back in contact with you. Right? So that's where the expert home valuation, they let us know what's going on with their property, new conditions, you know, anything that's going on in terms of making it unique or updates, anything like that. And then we can provide them a more accurate home value range as the agent. So again, that's why we left it like that. Also prevents them from taking this information and going working with another agent. So yeah, a lot of reasons that we wanted it to come back to you guys rather than just provide that automatic home value range. Now, outside of that, when we're back here on the Homebeat home screen, we will keep your clients here. So you can be able to, this is like I was saying, the light version of a CRM. You'll be able to see when that last Homebeat was sent, if they requested a CMA, when they viewed it, manage your clients from here, all of that good stuff directly from Homebeat. So with all that being said, I will go ahead and turn it over to you guys. Any questions that we have, anything that we took a look at that you're wondering about, feedback, happy to open it up to you guys.
Hey, Andrew, John Crow. I just sent you a note in the chat there. Maybe you mentioned this and it went over my head, but does the Homebeat tie into Follow Up Boss so we can basically send it through that or have responses come back through that?
Great question. So yeah, Homebeat doesn't directly integrate with Follow Up Boss. Now, to that, you would be able to import any clients from Follow Up Boss or export any clients from Homebeat into your Follow Up Boss account, but there isn't that direct integration just yet.
Okay, so we would have to manually enter that interaction in Follow Up Boss once they responded. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Andrew, I had a question when I was playing around with it, because the first way I had seen it was on Matrix, like on the MLS with that Cloud CMA button, because I ran the comps, clicked the Cloud CMA button, and I thought that the Cloud CMA button would bring me to the login to run the Cloud CMA program. But it doesn't seem like it's tied together in that manner where that button works, we have to actually go into Cloud CMA program without even going into the MLS. Like we could go to Cloud CMA without even going to the MLS, basically, if we did the quick and dirty CMA, right? Am I right with that? Because I didn't see that it connected when I clicked the Cloud CMA button in the MLS to log in. It brought me to a different Cloud CMA login, which was like the Cloud Agent CMA. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So yeah. So is your question?
The question would be, do we have to go into the Cloud CMA program every time to run Cloud CMA? Or if we were in MLS and we click on the Cloud CMA button, will that ever connect to Cloud CMA that we can then run the Cloud CMA program?
Yes. So yeah, the button in the MLS should connect you to Cloud CMA. It might have you log in for the first time, but yeah, it should be working in theory, where if you click that Cloud CMA button, it connects you to Cloud CMA automatically.
Would it make a difference if you had a different email in the MLS than what you were using through Spyglass through Cloud CMA?
So that has affected us in markets where the MLS is providing Cloud CMA as a member benefit. With Austin, it shouldn't matter. And it should just, when you log into Cloud CMA, it should allow you to connect no matter the email address. But I will have to confirm that with our support team. And if you guys are running into issues, if you have any screenshots or can provide, where it's taking you, that is always helpful as we're passing this on to support.
Hey, Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to use this. This was my go-to. I used it forever. I just canceled my own account in June. And I see the exact same thing. So his demonstration, because I played with it yesterday, just logging into Cloud CMA and running everything. And I saw all the Spyglass marketing stuff is branded. But if I just click on the Cloud CMA bottom, the button at the bottom of a search that I did in MLS, it's taking me to like a generic Cloud CMA. So there's definitely something going on with the integration of our Spyglass branded stuff.
Yeah, Andrew, can I do a screen share and show you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let me remove my little control panel. So in the MLS here, I've done just a regular search. This is my criteria: active, pending, sold. I've got 6 here. So on the bottom here, we have Cloud CMA. So when I click this, maybe because I'm already logged in, I can do, okay, so that actually, oh, cool. Okay, maybe it's because the first time I logged in, it wasn't connected. So, Tracy, was that you that commented? This looks like it worked. And if you guys haven't logged in, you have to remember to, when you're setting up Cloud CMA, to use your MLS number to set up Cloud CMA for your MLS login. I think that was a hurdle for logging in. Okay, so this is cool. I want to double check this because I know just from, if we're looking and digging in first here, just from habit, this is what I wanted to see, that connectivity there. So that's really cool. Okay.
But that didn't have the branding though. Would that still create the report with the branding?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't even, so is it fetch listings?
All right, so it looks like that branding took, but if you actually publish, then we'll know. if that theme's in there.
Oh, which brings me to another question.
Sure. Yeah, I had a feeling that would be a question.
Mhm.
And yeah, if you actually just want to click that view live, we should be able to see if the theme is in there.
Well, here it is so
Okay,
far.
yeah.
Sweet.
All right. It looked like now the one thing as we were going through this, I was thinking back to that question about, does the email have to be the same? So in theory, the email does not have to be the same with your Cloud CMA account and what you're using in the MLS. However, the email is what we're going to use, the email as well as your company name. So the @spyglassrealty.com email, and of course your company name, that is what we're going to use to lock that theme in for the account. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So if you were using a different email in the MLS and it was taking you to just a generic Cloud CMA account and not providing that custom theme, there could be some disconnect there. But yeah, like I said, anyone who's running into issues, if you're getting anything, or if it's just taking you into a normal Cloud CMA account and not your branded one, I'll throw my email in the chat box, and yeah, just send it my way, and we'll have our support team take a look at it.
Cool. So for curiosity, and I mean, we've got a tool we can use, but the I saw this.
Yeah.
So what's
Yeah.
y'all's integration here?
Yeah, so that is a feature that we have in Cloud CMA. It's called iBuyer Connect. So if you wanted to work with an investor, our partner Open Door, get a cash offer, see what they're saying, you could go that route. Now with our iBuyer Connect, the very unique thing about it, and the one thing that we always make sure of, the investor only works with you as the agent. So that's why we call it iBuyer Connect. We want to connect you as the agent to the investor so you can get that information without your seller or your buyer having to go to them.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And it is completely optional. You see here, you can turn it off. So if you don't want to receive any of those offers or don't want to receive any of those prompts, you can go ahead and take it out.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Does anyone else have any questions for Andrew?
Any other questions?
Guess not.
Yeah, I did have one quick question that came to me about where to update those MLS credentials. So yeah, when you are getting into Cloud CMA, underneath your account settings, that is where you will have headshot, company, logos, name, your contact information. But again, those MLS credentials, we'll want to make sure those get in there. So you guys can actually run your reports.
I think the agents are excited about this.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Well, yeah, we are excited. Excited that it's finally done for you guys and your branding's in there. But yeah, any questions, feel free to reach out. We are also more than happy to do any additional trainings for you guys down the road. We'll also point out underneath your profile icon, learning resources, support center, great resources, quick resources, I should say, as you guys are getting started. 5-minute tutorial videos, things like that in those options. But yeah, if there are no other questions, we'll go ahead and wrap it up, give you guys some time back on your Wednesday morning. Glad you guys seemingly enjoyed it. And like I said, anything that comes up, feel free to let me know. I'd be happy to help out.
Will do. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate all your time today.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew.
See you guys later.